Sarah was running late for work. Her heart was racing as she sprinted across the street, trying to make the train. But in that fleeting moment, something caught her eye, a glint in the corner of the sidewalk. She stopped dead in her tracks. It was a coin. Not just any coin, though. It shimmered as if it was calling to her. She picked it up, wondering if it was just another discarded piece of change. But as soon as her fingers touched it, she felt something. It was almost as if the coin had a pulse of its own, an energy she couldn't quite explain. But Sarah was late, so she stuffed the coin in her pocket, thinking it was just her imagination. She barely even noticed it the rest of the day. But that night, things started to shift. Sitting in her living room, exhausted and overwhelmed by bills, Sarah absent-mindedly reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out the coin. She stared at it for a moment. It felt heavier in her hand, more significant than it had earlier. Something inside her whispered, "Make a wish." So she did. "I wish I could stop stressing about money. I want to have enough. Enough for the rent, for the things I want. I just want to feel secure." It felt silly. What was a coin gonna do, right? But the very next day, Sarah got the news she wasn't expecting. Her boss called her into the office. "Sarah," her boss said, "we've been really impressed with your work lately. We're promoting you, and with it, you'll get a raise." Her jaw dropped. Was this real? And it didn't stop there. A week later, an envelope arrived in the mail. An old investment she'd forgotten about, one her grandmother had opened years ago, had matured. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to cover a chunk of her bills and give her the breathing room she so desperately needed. Sarah couldn't believe it. She'd wished for abundance, but this felt too easy, too good to be true. And then it hit her. It wasn't the coin. The coin had nothing to do with it. It was her belief that things could be different. Her belief that abundance was possible for her and that the universe could support her. The coin was just a catalyst, a reminder that when you focus your energy on what you want, you start to attract it, even when it feels impossible. From that day on, Sarah's life began to change in ways she couldn't explain. The more she believed in her own worth, the more opportunities came knocking. The more she shifted her mindset, the more money, happiness, and health flowed into her life. And that mysterious coin, well, Sarah never saw it again. But it didn't matter, because she realized that the real magic was in her own hands all along.